Welcome back to I Got You podcast. This is a space where we talk about the things people feel but don't always have the words for. And today we're getting into something that hits a lot of people but isn't always understood. Clearly, gaslighting, lack of accountability, and navigating relationships with narcissistic patterns. Because a lot of people are asking these questions. People are writing me and texting me to get an expert on that could talk about different things with relationships. So a lot of people think, am I overthinking? Or am I actually being manipulated, right? And that is sometimes very confusing. It can slowly break down your confidence, your voice, and also the reality that you live. So today I'm sitting with someone who brings both clarity and truth to these conversations. The Crystal England. And can you just please tell me a little bit about yourself and the work that you do?
Yes. So my name is Dr. Crystal Ann England, licensed marriage and family therapist. I've been working in this field for almost 20 years, honey.
Woo!
So I specialize in working with couples, lots of couples, and I do a lot of family work, mother and daughter, mother and son, father and daughter, the entire family. I am a true systems therapist. I work not just with individuals, but the entire systems in which they operate.
I love that.
And my current projects that I'm working on is I'm working on doing some research currently
Mhm.
with Caribbean clinicians and how they do work with Caribbean clients outside in the diaspora. So I love all things our people and talking about relationships and all things mental health, just making it make sense for us. Right.
Thank you for being on again. Why do some people struggle so much with taking accountability in relationships, especially when you're pointing it out and you have facts that this is what's going on? Why is it so hard to take accountability?
So let's think about it this way, Heather, right? I want to lovingly remind everybody that not everyone grew up the way you grew up. Right.
Mhm.
So, for example, if you grew up in a home where your mommy and daddy were like, hey, Heather, why did you do that? And you even had an opportunity to say, well, mommy, I was hungry. And I know you said we have to wait till dinner time, but I was
Mhm.
really hungry. So I teeth piece chicken, right? The fact that you even got a chance to explain, you might
True.
still get licks, but at least you got to explain, right?
Right.
Mommy taught you in some ways in that scenario that your voice mattered.
Uh,
So even though you still get licks
yeah,
for doing the wrong things, she still gave you an opportunity to even use your voice.
express yourself.
So it's important to understand. This is why I always say, think about the man you choose. Okay? Okay. Because if you go and you pick up one lagu bagu man who grew up in a household where his mom wasn't around, his dad wasn't around, he grew up with his grandparents had him on the farm, and then he was in school, and then he was working. Who is really raising him?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Who's really taking time to show him that when there's situations where you do something wrong, accountability is important.
Mhm.
If you grow up in a environment where you're never taught this,
Right, right.
so now you're a grown man going through life, the
Mhm.
streets raised you or the farm raised you, right? And then now here's this woman trying to tell you that you must take accountability. Get out of my face.
Yeah.
What you're asking him, he doesn't even have the capacity for. It's literally like you're speaking another language because emotional intelligence is a language. So if you're
Mm,
speaking this to a man who has never had opportunities, was never taught that his voice is important, that his
yeah.
opinions are important, it feels to him when you express something, it feels to him like you're attacking him
Mhm.
instead of maybe his actions.
Right, right.
So when you say, honey, I don't like when you yell at me when we get into an argument.
Mhm.
Who the hell are you talking to? You want to come tell me how I must express myself?
Right, right.
Because for him now, what you're saying to him is that you're trying to tell him how to show up, which feels like you're telling me that how I'm showing up is bad, right?
Mm,
There's shame in that. So let's think
yeah.
about this, Heather. If you've never been taught
Mhm.
how to take accountability, you never had opportunities,
Mhm.
accountability is going to feel for you like a personal attack.
Mm.
I mean, but I think there's even like an emotional maturity portion to this. So if you come and you're telling me something, because oftentimes when we want people to take accountability,
Oh, yes.
Heather, part of it is like emotional maturity, right? So if you come to me and you're telling me something you want me to take accountability for, you're asking me essentially to admit in some way that I was wrong, or that something I did was not was not good.
It was hurtful,
Was
yeah.
hurtful, or it was bad, or however it was that it felt to you. But what you're trying to tell me is that somehow me did something to you.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people don't like that.
That part I don't understand in people. You know you did it. So why is it so hard? I keep hearing women don't like taking accountability, but I've noticed men also don't like taking accountability. So it's both. That part is very confusing to me.
There's a certain level of self-reflection and self-understanding that's required for accountability.
No.
Right? So, for example, I hear this all the time when I'm working with moms and daughters, right? The daughter is like, me and my mommy not talking because mommy refuses to take accountability for the stuff she did to me in my childhood, right? And so I will talk to mommy first, because I've learned over the years that if mommy can't take accountability, the conversation is not going to go good.
Not going anywhere.
It's going to be a problem. We're going to go nowhere. So I usually meet with the mom first, and I'll say, mommy, do you see the ways in which you hurt your child? And I kid you not, Heather, there are times where mothers have said, I did my best.
Yeah.
You want
Yeah.
me to apologize for I did my best? Because there's something about like almost ego that if I admit that maybe, just maybe, I didn't always make the right choices, then maybe I look weak. Maybe I look like I was a bad mother. Maybe I look like, it's like all the perceptions that you could think, right?
Right.
So instead of admitting that, okay, yeah, there were times that I beat you until you bled, probably wasn't a good idea, I'm going to say I did the best I could.
Just to protect your ego. That's
Protect
it.
my ego. Because if I admitted that I hurt you, what does that now say about the things I did?
Who I am as a
And
person.
who I am as a mother, as a person, as a human. Now I begin to question the things that I do. And that's too much. I'm not trying to question myself, because then that means I have to look at myself. And if I look at myself, I might discover some things that I don't like.
Wow. But that's sad though. And especially when it comes to your kids or a spouse or somebody who's there for you, and especially your kids, you birthed them, that there's some things that you probably could have done better, right? Even in a marriage, when you do it, and I don't know. I think I always think that people should always self-reflect and say, hey, I am not all good. There's no perfect person out here. So there's some bad that we do. So why can't you just
But where did you learn how to do that though, Heather? Where did you learn that that was important?
it was getting time to talk to my mom. Maybe that's what it is. Having conversation with my mom, and my mom allowed me to speak. Because
That's a
with
big
my
thing.
grandmother and older people, shut your mouth and don't say nothing to, kids should stay in a kid's place. So I saw both sides growing up. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what it is.
But
I
I
don't know.
wonder actually, no, I'm glad that that's not your experience, but I wonder what kind of person you would have been had you only had that side of grandma. And
I said the same thing to my mom. I thanked her the other day. And I said, you know what? I am grateful for how I was raised. You know how some people will resent, why didn't I grow up with my mom and my dad? Why didn't I do this? But the person that I am today, who could sit back, and again, I'm not perfect. There's things that I need. I have a very defensive thing sometimes. So I'm working on that. But seeing both sides of a coin sometimes, I am thankful for who I am today because of how I was raised, and not hold it against nobody.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I am who I am.
And so imagine a man who only had grandma,
Yeah. Yeah.
who
Yeah.
every time he did anything wrong, or even when he didn't do things wrong, he was just being a child, right? That there was this criticism, and it was shame, and it was beaten. And when you
Yeah.
get to be an adult and those are your experiences, it becomes very, very, very hard to metabolize anything within your mind, body, and spirit that
Yeah.
feels like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No, that makes a lot of sense. But even say, I know people who were raised with mom and dad, right? And I don't know if it's a Caribbean thing, like boys shouldn't do certain things. A man is supposed to be a man. A woman got to stay in their place. You get what I'm saying? So it's
Mhm.
almost like they were raised with both,
Yeah.
but they have that stickler. A man is going to be a man going to do this. And maybe because where the environment that they were raised to, the environment also raised them. Do you think
What?
that has a lot to do with it as well?
Oh, yeah.
Even if you have both parents in the home?
Oh, for sure. Because it doesn't, I mean, I don't think it necessarily matters if it's both parents in the home or not. I just think it's a matter of how your parents or whoever raised you, how they raised you, right?
Right, right.
If they allowed you to express yourself. Because you're right, within our Caribbean community, allowing your little boy to express how he's feeling, that's not a thing.
That
Right.
does not.
That's not something that we typically allow or talk about. Oh, baby, come and tell me, how are you feeling? How did
Yeah.
mommy, make you feel when that thing happened? There's none
Yeah.
of that happening.
That's true. That's true. That's true. So, all right. So when someone is, so is that's the same thing as right when somebody's constantly deflecting or blame
Yeah.
shifting. What's really going on though psychologically? And then is that what we just talked about? And
Yeah.
how do you navigate that, especially in a relationship?
So I think the strategy that I often will employ or encourage the partner of someone who is constantly deflecting or refuses to take accountability is I will encourage the person to be mindful of how they approach topics, right? So for example, let's say, give me an example, Heather.
An example of deflecting?
No, like of situation in a relationship that you've experienced where the man deflected.
All right, someone saw a picture of that guy with another woman. She brought it to attention. Of course, she brought it to him upset. Why you coming at me like that? Why you coming at me angry? The way you coming at me makes me not want to answer the question. So they're putting it back now. They somehow switched it back to the woman to say, it's nothing. And you coming at me, screaming at me like that. So you're at the fault. You're the person why I'm not going to answer that question.
Yeah.
You're the reason I'm not going to answer that question because you're angry and you're coming at me. So is that it's almost like a blame game now? It's
Yeah.
you. You're the reason why I did what I did.
So let's not talk about this picture with the woman. Let's talk
No.
about you and how you're talking to me.
Right,
Right.
right.
And
Mhm.
so this is why it's important that, even when I have, let's say, a woman who finds something, I'll say, okay, we're not addressing this yet. You're not
Right.
talking to him yet. Let me and you process. I need you to scream with me, yell with me, cuss with me, because by the time I need you to get to him, I need you to be that out so that
Mm.
you can really listen and pay attention to what he's telling you, both verbally and non-verbally. And you can't do that when you're in that emotional state.
How you should have approached it was not at that moment handle the situation, sit back in it.
Sit in it.
How
Sit
do
in it
you
for
tell
a
somebody?
minute.
Boy, how
Call
you
your
tell somebody?
girlfriend. Call your
How you,
therapist.
how you tell somebody to do that?
Hold on. Heather, the problem is sometimes in the moment we react and it's important. And listen, I am the first one. I had this one girlfriend. She used to call me, my goodness, what did she used to call me? Oh my goodness, my brain, I can't even remember what it
It's all right. This is
Yes. Essentially, I don't think I would just speak. The moment something came, it's out my mouth. Right? That's how I operate. I don't mince words. I just say however I feel out the mouth. And then if it's something that if I offended you, then I'll go back and I'll say, I'm sorry about that. Shouldn't have said that. So sorry about that. But in the moment, I'm gonna cuss you, right?
Is it cussing?
Yes.
Because you're like, oh my God, how can you do this to me?
No,
Right?
wait,
That's
but,
what it
but Heather,
huh?
you gotta reel it in. Okay. Whenever we're talking about being in relationship, when we're talking to somebody from a place of hurt, from a place of frustration or anger or deceit or any of those things, it's important that we've allowed ourselves to like process. Okay, first question is, what am I feeling? I'm angry. I am so frustrated with this blasted man. I feel like I could just, right? But then I'm feeling sad because I knew in my gut that this man was a womanizer and I still pushed through. I'm feeling disappointed in myself because I didn't listen when I first felt it and I didn't honor myself. So it's important that we sit. First question, how am I feeling? And I'm going through all the things that I'm feeling. Okay, do I need to make a decision right in this moment? Like, are me and this man living together? So like I can't go back to my apartment because this man is there and I know that maybe there's situations that, right? So
Right.
thinking things through, how do I want to approach this? How am I feeling? How do I want to approach this? Does it require me to make a right
Right.
now decision? Or can I sit with this for a minute? And here's why. You have a lot more clarity when you're able to like sit with it.
You do.
Right?
I do believe that. You're right.
And then you check in with the girlfriend. You check in with your therapist. You check in with your mom. Mommy, let me tell you what I found. I know you're my mom, but I want you to try to give me feedback from a place of experience, not as my mother right now. Can you do that? Probably not, but
Probably not. They don't bring it to. I don't bring it to the parents because they're like, left him. You don't look. Most people don't bring it to. Yeah, they do bring it to their girlfriends, but that's after the fact, though.
but you know, sometimes Heather, the people around us, yes, they can lead us astray because mommy, the first thing she's gonna tell you is to leave him, right?
Left him. I'm not going to
Yes.
fear him.
But is she always wrong?
I was wrong. No.
Because sometimes you do need to leave him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you would have listened to her, you might have fared better, right?
That's how I feel in the younger days when the parents like something about that person is not. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to listen to them.
We don't.
Yeah.
So then
Mhm.
once you've come to a full understanding of how you feel, then you bring it to the person. Hey, I'm going to make up my name. Eric,
Mm.
I found something. Do you have the capacity to have a conversation right now?
Right.
Eric can say, no, I don't want to talk. That's information, Heather.
That shows you how yeah.
That's information,
When it comes to conflict.
right? Do I want to be in a relationship with a man that every time I have something I want to talk about, he don't want to talk about it? What is this showing me about how our life is going to be?
Right.
So when things get hard in our life, difficult things come up. This is how you're going to be every time.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk.
Yeah.
How are we going to maneuver through life?
That's true. No, that's true. That's true.
Because life is filled with hard things.
Yeah.
So again, part of it too is as women, we need to do a better job of listening to ourselves and listening to the things that the man is saying that he's telling you. Because oftentimes a man will tell you,
He does. It tell you right in your face. You're right.
that's
you're right.
what I have going on over there is none of your business, which says to me, I have something going on over
You have
there.
something going on. Right.
But that's none of your business.
Yeah, they don't want. Yeah, according to one, they don't want you asking too many questions. Women shouldn't be asking too many questions. Men could ask you now.
Of course.
What are you doing? What are you doing? And if you don't answer, you're acting like a man.
But
Yeah.
again, you get to choose your partner.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
if this is the way that you're being met when you ask, and again, this is why you have to be careful with how you approach it. Because if you approach it from a place of emotionality of like, I find this picture on your phone, and who is this? Why this lady there? The man, easy. Oh, this is why I'm not going to tell you anything.
Yes, that's what she said. Yeah.
Right? But when I come to you and I say, I found something and I would like to talk to you about it. You have a minute? Oh, I'm not. You're being really emotional right now. That's interesting. It's interesting the way that you're being really emotional right now because I'm calm.
Yeah.
And so this is telling me everything I need to know.
Right.
Right? So do you see how you give yourself emotionally an upper hand when you come to it calm?
No, I agree and I understand. I do agree and understand. All right. So for that person in that moment,
Yeah.
because it's easy to say, okay, but if you've been giving your all and that person now you saw something, and especially it was on one of those special days, and that person said, I was going to be there with you, right? And then you realize the lies and everything else that was happening during that time. How do you, what should you say? How do you navigate that? Because you're hot, you're upset. How do you come back from that then? Or
Heather, what are you looking for? As that woman in that situation, what are you looking for? What more do you need to see to show you that the man is not for you, the man is for the street?
Yeah, yes.
And again, I think this is part of the problem with us as women is that we want the man to explain. The man don't need to explain. The man already showed you. What do you want to hear? Would you like
Ooh.
him to talk you out of what you're feeling?
What do you think? Do you think women just they settle though? Do you think a lot of women settle for because they feel like they're getting older? They need a companion, so they'll put up with anything. Because now, yeah, you made me think outside of the box. You're right.
You want a companion? Go get a dog.
Hi, wait, okay. Oh,
A
that's true.
dog is loyal. They are very loyal. They will never cheat
Yeah,
on you. They will never hit you. They will love you no matter what.
right,
The
right.
moment you come home, they run to the door and love you up.
No matter how much you beat them. No, you're right though. You're right. I don't know. It's crazy. A lot of yeah, it's crazy. Because I'm seeing so much on social media, not to be all over the place, on
No, that's
social
okay.
media about the black man and the black woman, and we don't like each other, we don't get along, and everybody's blaming the black woman. The black woman, this is the reason why we do what we do. You know what? I'm seeing so much of that. And I think we're getting brainwashed now to think there's no good black woman out there, there's no good black man, but
I don't believe that, Heather.
I don't
I
either.
see incredible couples all the time.
Yeah,
They're
me
not
too.
perfect,
Yeah.
right? But I see, so whenever I hear or I see anything about black man this and black man, I'm like, first of all, I have a black man
You
and
have a black man, yeah,
I
I
am
know.
very happy with my black man. And I have a ton of couples that I work
Yeah,
with, and I see how much black men love and cherish their black woman.
I know. I'm surrounded by one of my friends, her husband, when I see them together, and again, I know they're not perfect,
Yeah.
but he will fix her hair. If she
Yeah.
has something going on, he's there for her. He's setting up stuff. And the love you feel between them, and they've been together for so long. And I'm like, sometimes you wish,
Yeah.
you could be in something like that or see something like that.
And you
But
can, Heather, you can.
I know, but there's so many women around me too that are saying the same thing. They have so many stories of these men just doing certain things. Like, yeah, I had text messages because I asked people for input before I come on these podcasts,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of women like, nah, he treated me like this. He's talking down to me. He calls me names. You know what I'm saying?
So hold on,
He,
Heather. I wanna back you up a minute. I want you to remember that people
Mm.
treat you the way that you treat yourself.
Boy, would
And
you?
tell me,
But if you think you're treating yourself well, right? Like me right now, because I'm in a vulnerable space, I am not mentally, everything is not together. So maybe the people, if I draw people now, it's not going to be the best because I'm in chaos in my brain. So is that what you're saying?
I'm saying will only allow you to abuse me as much as I abuse myself. And if you go past that, that's where I say I draw the line.
Yeah. That's deep.
So
I-
for me, when I look at, for example, the woman that I was in my 20s, I knew who I was to a degree, but I was still learning myself,
Right.
right? I was very naive about love. I was very naive about the world. And so I for sure settled within relationships because I didn't know my reference point in my mind was my dad.
Uh-huh.
I'm very close with my dad. So when I think about how my dad showed up in romantic relationship with my mom, there was a
Right.
lot of arguing.
Uh-huh.
But then there was a lot of like love and affection. So I thought this is what love is. Love is
Right.
arguing a lot, but then
Right.
it was also tenderness. So then
Oh,
when I
really?
picked up partners, unknowingly, I was picking up partners who were very argumentative,
Uh-huh.
but then extremely loving.
Really?
And then it wasn't until I got to about 27, 28, and I was like, hell is this?
Yeah.
So now I'm looking around because I'm seeing other reference points that
Right.
relationships don't have to have constant arguing. Because look, they don't argue all the time and cuss and fight each other. And they're
Hmm.
really happy. And they
Hmm.
don't have to do that either. So now
Right.
my reference points have expanded. And so now what I'm seeing as normal, I realize is no longer normal. Right. But
Mhm.
it's because now the people I'm surrounded with,
It's different.
I'm experiencing something else, right?
Mhm.
So the huge point of what I'm trying to say here is it always comes back to self.
Yeah. Yeah.
It always comes back to self.
You said something to me, and I again, my brain is always asking, do you think subconsciously we do choose people like, say, our dads if we saw them growing up or our moms?
Of course.
Subconsciously, you don't even know that you're doing it.
It's the way in which we resolve that conflict.
How do you break that cycle, though? How do you break that cycle of not wanting some of the things, especially if your dad, I mean, like you say, your dad was a womanizer or something like that. How do you break that?
Self-awareness,
Mm.
right? So when I mentioned that I got to that age of 27, I had started to become a lot more self-aware. This is where I really started to do the work in my
Mm.
life of like, who is this woman that I want to become? Because up until
Right.
this point, I was just kind of like led. Life was just dragging me along and I was just going when it came
Mhm.
to relationships. But for the first time, I was like, wait a minute, I get to choose.
Right.
And what do I want to choose?
Mm.
And so I started to think, I want someone kind.
Right.
I want someone who's not gonna argue and fight,
Mm.
but also who's loving, right? So let's take away this argue and fighting because I'm exhausted now. I did that through my whole 20s. What I
Right. Right.
actually want is someone who's gonna listen, someone who's gonna be kind, someone who's gonna
Mm.
be, right? And so I really started to think about what I wanted. But also, as I'm thinking about what I really want and need,
Mhm.
I'm asking myself, am I those things?
Mhm.
Because how many times are we asking for certain things and then we don't even have that?
You don't have that capacity yet. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. No, you're right. You unpacked a lot in that. Like the one question, that's a lot of these words are thrown out. I'm
Yeah.
still trying to learn what all these things mean. But let's talk about gaslighting. And a lot of people think they would. A lot of people think they would recognize it right away. I
Yeah.
know. I didn't even know what the word meant before. What are some subtle ways that gaslighting shows up often? In relationships, and people often miss that.
So gaslighting is, I like to think of it as confusion,
Okay.
right? So anytime that you and someone are having a conversation and it just feels like, wait, what are we talking about here? Right. So going back to your girlfriend that mentioned the picture,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh,
So let's say the guy is like, what are you talking about? That picture is from 1974. Did you see, did you see the date on that picture? That wasn't even where did you find that picture? Are you sure it was me? That wasn't me. That was my cousin.
that
It's like,
is-
and then at the
uh,
end of it, you're like, what the hell just happened? Wait, what are we talking about? Right?
right,
So
right.
gaslighting is often this thing of feeling like you don't even know what you're talking about at this point. You're like, whoa, my head, I'm confused. I don't even know what just happened. What just
Right,
happened?
right. At the end of the conversation, like, "Huh?
Y-
What were we even talking about?" Yeah, it's gaslighting, okay.
And then you start to question yourself, wait, was that actually him in the picture? Did I see right? No, that wasn't that. No, maybe
Uh-uh.
no. Am I making a big deal of this? Maybe it was
Right.
from a long time ago. So then you start to question yourself, right? So there's
Oops.
confusion, and then you start questioning your own ability to like see things, right? Or recognize things.
Right, right.
Um, and this can anytime we have these kinds of situations, it leads to anxiety,
Uh,
right? Because then you start feeling like, especially as a woman, we are deeply led by our intuition,
right.
especially if we're spiritual.
Mhm, mhm.
And when a man starts to make you question your own sanity, you start to question your intuition and you become disconnected from your spiritual self.
Right.
Which is why oftentimes when people are in these emotionally abusive relationships, they are not in alignment spiritually. They're not.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
the way that, unfortunately, that these relationships work is they work by severing your spirituality. Because if you are
Really?
connected to source within yourself, the
Mhm.
moment that a man tell lie, you're gonna be like,
You know it's a lie. Yeah.
something here is not right.
Huh?
And
Uh-huh.
then you're gonna listen to it. But
Mhm.
men know that. And again, not like cognitively, but they know that spiritually. That if
Right.
you listen to your intuition, you're gonna leave,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
wow.
so deep. But this is why I always tell women the moment that you feel something, believe yourself,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
believe yourself.
yeah. So can gaslighting ever be unintentional, or is it always a form of manipulation?
I don't think if I'm honest with you, most of the time, I don't think it's intentional.
Really?
I do not think that people intentionally do it. I think people are so delusional that they
Mhm.
genuinely believe their own damn lies,
Well, yeah, that's for that part. For that part.
which is why they're so good at it.
Yeah. So in their head, it's not manipulation then. It's just this is just who they are as a person. And some of them probably they can't help it if they dig deeper, but most of them are so surface.
Going back to the mom and daughter,
Mhm.
right? So mom and daughter come in. They're, I'm working with the mom. I'm asking the mom, do you recognize how some of these things are abuse? The mom is like, absolutely not. I did the best I could, right? So the
Oh,
daughter's
wow.
like, Mom, do you remember? And this is just me making up a story
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
of things I often hear. The daughter might say to the mom, Mom, do you remember that time where this thing happened and then you beat me so bad that I couldn't even go to school the next day?
Oh
Do
my
you
god.
remember that? I literally will have mummies tell their children, like, why would you make a story up like that?
Oh, man, they forgot what they did.
And they genuinely, I mean, and here's the thing, Heather, our
Mm,
brains are
mhm,
so incredible
mhm.
that it's about survival. Our brain will make us forget the terrible things we did. Like
Really?
literally, that piece of the memory, gone, gone, gone. Because if your memory truly remembered the terrible things you did, you would not be able to live with yourself. For some people,
Wow. So they really forgot, like,
Lit-
hey, yes. So like abuse and stuff, like I forgot that some of the things happened. So they
that's why you will
it's,
hear mummy say all the time, I don't remember that. I
you're
didn't do
right.
that. And it's
You're
not that
right.
the mummy is trying to gaslight the daughter. It's
Yeah,
genuinely the mummy does not have recollection.
you're right.
So I don't think that gaslighting is always something that is intentional. In fact, again, a
Mm.
lot of times I I see it more as their way of coping because they genuinely don't recall or
Yeah.
they don't understand. You mean right? So it's
That's crazy.
but again, here's the thing, Heather, that I really want your listeners to understand.
Mhm.
Stop looking to the other person
Yes.
for what they are doing wrong or what they're
Mm.
not doing. Look at, you want to talk about accountability? Look at
Yeah.
yourself and ask yourself, why am I in this
Not.
situation?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
did I get here?
Right,
How
right.
do I keep ending up with man like this?
That yes, that was gonna be one of my questions because it seemed like you choose the suit changes, but the same characteristic you keep on attracting that same characteristic in men. The
Yeah.
man that are cheaters, the man that are liars, the man who don't won't take accountability. So that means there is something inside of you that's attracting that, right?
And that's where the work starts because at the end
Mm,
of the day, it is not about them. And it's
yeah.
easy for us to say, these men are gaslighters, these men are manipulative, these men are this, these men are, baby, what about you? What is it about you? Right? And this part is hard because we don't want to, it's hard to look at ourselves and to say, in some ways, there's something about me that I am calling in this type of man.
Okay, I understand that, right? Because but a
Okay.
lot of people are saying, say, "Okay, I'm an empath, right? I feel a lot. Like if you start crying right here, I'm gonna be bawling with you, right?
Mhm.
I see certain things and I could feel energy in people. What I'm hearing that, and again, you correct me, that some men who are narcissists and gaslighters or all of this, they're drawn to people who feel a lot and who are willing to do anything for them. Is that true in some ways?
Yes, in some ways, but here's the thing, Heather, that I've learned
I
is
know.
that as an empath, because I'm the same way, my clients get to cry and I'm like,
But
empaths have to be, I'm going to choose my words carefully here. They have to be radically protective. And this is something that as I've gotten older, I learn I cannot be around anybody. I cannot. I do not. And people might say, oh, you think you're too good. Yes, I am. Yes.
yeah,
Yes. You think you're better than? Yes, I am. Whatever
yeah,
it is that you think of me, yes, sure,
right, right, right.
whatever.
It's your thoughts.
Because at
Right.
this point in my life, I have learned I cannot and will not allow anybody in my stratosphere that is
Mhm.
not in alignment with who I am. Because I'm so sensitive to
Yeah,
energies and other people's shit,
yeah,
I
yeah,
have to be very, very careful and I guard because to me, I feel like this is an extension of a gift that God has given, loaned to me.
yeah.
And because God has loaned it to me, I try to take care of it.
Oh, I
And
like
because
that.
I take care of it, I cannot be out here with everybody like, look at my gift, look at my gift. No, because there are
Mm.
people out here who are going to want to exploit my
They
gift.
take advantage of it, yes, because they know you're a good person and it's like that's what's drawn to you.
So I don't, whenever I feel that people are looking to me, because here's the thing, moths and bugs, they're attracted to what?
Right. Yeah.
You don't get to be in my stratosphere. And again, however you want to interpret that, oh, she thinks she's too good. Yes, sure, whatever. Yeah, absolutely. If you think I'm too good, it's probably because I am for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably. So
You're
you
right.
can feel however you want to feel. But
Yeah.
I know the reasoning for why I'm very protective and careful about
Mhm.
who I have in my circle. Because again, this is the gift that God put on loan. Is loan, it don't belong to me.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So I protect it with everything I have. And
Makes
not any kind of dega man can just come, oh, hi, ticka, 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 ticka. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
no.
No, you're right.
Because you're about to mess up with my gift that the Lord gave me.
Yeah.
No.
And I like what you said that you're in alignment. I like that. Yeah. Because when they know you're in alignment, they can't really take you off your course as long as you love yourself enough. I love that.
But Heather,
All
that's
right.
why it always comes back to self.
To self, everything is self.
It
You're right.
always comes back to self. So if you are not finding the right partner, the question is
No.
not, why are there no good partners? The question is, what do I need to become to find a better partners?
Yeah.
What do I need to become?
Yeah. And most people, well, along with myself, I feel like I'm a good person,
Mhm.
but there is something deeper. And I know that because I realize sometimes the chaos that's in my head, I'm all over the place and I can't finish one thing. So I know I have to work on me first before you start trying
Yeah.
to date and bring people into your life. So and thank you. Thank you for saying that. This one word that's being thrown out a lot. The gaslighting was one, but the narcissist, right?
Okay.
So when it comes to narcissistic behavior, how can someone tell the difference, I guess, between the normal personality trait and something that's deeper than, that's deeper and it's, I guess, actually called a narcissist?
A
Very cool.
small percentage of people who actually would classify in the
Yeah.
DSM model of a
Right.
narcissist. Most people can have narcissistic tendencies,
That's what I was going to
right?
ask. 'Cause we all have some.
But it's the same thing as all of us having anxious tendencies, depressed tendencies. So at any given time, I think any of us, based on the season of our life, can
Yeah.
fall within a particular spectrum, right?
Mm.
But I'm saying all of that to say I'm very careful when I use the word narcissist to describe anybody, because even in my almost 20 years of working in this field, I have
Mm.
never, I'm going to repeat that, I have never worked with a narcissist.
That's
Never.
good.
Because
All right.
they are so rare. They are so rare, right? Now, have I
Mm.
worked with people with narcissistic tendencies every day? Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So people try to diagnose or label a person as a narcissist, but it's just some tendencies that that person has. And
Yes.
we all have it because I've been
All of
reading
us.
something. I was like, what's wrong with that?
All of us have it. All of us, right? And
Okay.
so something that I try to think about is, so when we think about rigidity and impact, right?
Uh-huh.
So a narcissist would be someone who does not have the ability to ever look at themselves and like be self-reflective. But the
Okay.
part that is really, I think the part that a lot of people get is the lack of empathy, right?
Yep.
And so I think if we think of it this way, would we go around calling everybody a sociopath?
Mhm.
We wouldn't, right? Like Jeffrey Dahmer is a sociopath. How many
Um,
Jeffrey Dahmers actually exist in the world?
yeah, you
Not
should.
that many. So to me, a narcissist and like a sociopath are very close.
Um,
And so because we don't see many sociopaths, it's because it's not a common thing. We do see people with sociopathic tendencies, right?
right, right.
But not necessarily a sociopath. It's the same thing with narcissists, right?
Um,
Because when we think of it, a narcissist lacks empathy. They don't have the ability to take accountability. Um, they keep doing the same things over and over, even though you express to them that you don't like something, and then they try to minimize the impact that they have in your life, right? But again,
yeah,
I want to go back to this. If you have a mom or a dad with narcissistic tendencies, you have no control over that.
um,
Now, you have a partner with narcissistic tendencies,
you have control over them. because you could leave. You don't have to be there.
Now, that's not to say that there aren't women who are in tricky situations where they might be financially controlled and they don't
Okay.
have the financial ability or
Mhm.
safety to say, I'm going to leave this man.
Right.
Because them and the three kids, where they going?
They have
Right?
nowhere
Because
to go.
oftentimes a narcissist will separate you from your people,
Okay. Tribe,
right? So
yeah.
that they can fully be able to abuse you in the way that they want. Because if you have
Mhm.
people, they can't do that the way they want to, right? They can
Right.
control you or abuse you the way they want. But
Right.
again, there's always a moment where where it's so tricky, Heather, but there's always a moment between where we could decide to walk away, but we choose to stay.
Yeah. 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 That's true.
And I know once we're in it, it's hard to leave, right? Like if you're married, you have
Yeah.
kids, y'all have a business together, you been I
Mhm.
know saying, oh, we'll just leave. Like that's not fair. And it's not that
Yeah.
easy.
It's not that easy. Yeah. So, all right. So, before I ask that question, I got to write it down. So, is it possible? Is there a real change for someone who avoids accountability and shows narcissistic tendencies? Is there something that really could change in that person?
No,
Oh, shoot.
no,
Oh,
not
Lord.
unless they want that.
Right.
And oftentimes, if you see a 50-odd-year-old man who is in that place and he's lived his whole life, what the hell you think you gonna change it? That man went
Uh,
his whole life. And here you come, oh, I think we should go to therapy and we should work on it. Girl, get out of here. And that's not to, hold on though, Heather. That's not to say that people can't change,
but that's if they think they have issues,
but
though.
they have to decide this is something that is impacting my life negatively and I want to change it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because let's be honest here, change is very hard.
Yeah.
It is
Especially after some years of doing it.
it is very hard. And anybody who tells you otherwise is the damn lie.
Yeah.
Change
Yeah.
is very hard. And again, because I work with a lot of couples, I've seen men put in the work to change for their wives. I have.
So, you have?
And so I know that there's possibility for change.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm there with a man like, listen here, sir, cut out the foolishness now.
Right. Right.
And I'll
Right.
even say to him, with his wife present, I'll say, if you decide that you want to stay the same way, what are you going to do when this woman leaves you?
Right. That's what I was gonna ask you, because you hear a lot of men talk about the woman is always the one that wants the divorce. The woman is the one that's always leaving, even though they have done the cheating and they've done so many other things. And that woman finally says, "I'm done." But now social media and everything else is saying the woman always leaves. So that's why we don't trust women. What do you say to that?
Say, so you think that a woman should stay and endure your abuse? And honestly, Heather, sometimes these men, you don't even love yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you want me to
To love
allow
you.
you to continue to not love me properly?
Right. Yeah. It's sad though. Like as I said, the whole story is not being told when you see these feeds and everything about the black woman is this and the black man is that. But there's so many stories behind it, and
Oh
people
yeah.
are believing just what they see right here and not digging deeper because these people are not going to tell their business and why
Mhm.
it happened. But when someone is in a relationship, right, what does setting healthy boundaries look like with a partner who refuses accountability? Leave.
Can't be with a partner who doesn't take accountability.
Yeah.
And
So there's
I can't.
boundaries. Hmm.
Because again, how are we going through life?
Yeah.
How are we going through life? Because there are going to be situations where things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And if I can't come to you and say, babes, when you said X, Y, and Z,
Wow.
it made me feel this way. And he goes, so you don't have anything to say about what I'm saying to you?
I have nothing to say to, yeah. That says a lot though, right?
I can't be with you. Like, I personally
Yeah.
cannot be with you.
Right.
And I would suggest to any of my clients, that is not a man you want to do life with.
Right. Right. So if you tell a guy that, hey, what you did hurt me, and they're like, how can it hurt you? How could that hurt you? I didn't hurt you, And you can't really set boundaries with that person.
No, it's either, do I want to continue a life where
Yeah.
I'm never going to be validated
Uh-huh.
and understood?
Yeah.
Do I want this kind of life? And again, always go back to self. I think sometimes too much as women, we think that we're like stuck.
Uh-huh.
You're not stuck. At any
Okay.
time, you could say, My husband always used to say this to me in the beginning of our relationship. He would always say, if I don't add to your life, I do not need to be in your life.
That is true. That is true.
And I think the other part of that is if you add problems to my life, you
No,
do not
right?
need to be in my life.
You bring chaos into the person's life and think that you're bringing value.
You don't need to be in my life. And again,
Yeah.
as women, we get to choose. This
Yeah.
man is literally, and Heather, I cannot tell you how many times men will say, I don't have the ability to tell you what, or men will say, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, you hurt me. Well, I don't know what to tell you. He's literally telling you, I don't have the capacity to understand or to have a conversation with you about how I'm feeling. And I refuse to do that.
Don't even try.
What more do you want from the man? The man is telling you.
Yeah, yeah.
But at that point, you get to decide again, am I okay with being in a relationship where I will not be understood, validated, and there's no real conversation about our feelings or situations? I have to decide to move on. I have to let it go.
Right. At the end of the day, it's still your individual. You have to do this. Not you can't blame everybody else. Can't blame the man, can't blame nothing else. It's you. Now this was good. Look, this was counseling. Look, you came on for a podcast. I'm like, ooh, gotta think about that. Jeez. But I hope all my audience gets to see this and really think about a lot of this thing because it makes sense. But we're always pointing fingers at the man did this, the woman did this, the man ain't do it, and
Always come back.
yes, everything's still me.
Always self. Always self. And the
I like it.
more that you understand and care for who you are, the
Yeah.
less you have tolerance for what's the foolishness that you'll allow.
Gotta love yourself.
But it's
Yeah.
even more than that, Heather. It's even more than love. It's respect. You got to respect yourself. Because I've always loved myself, but I didn't always respect.
Right.
Because I would allow people
Mhm.
to treat me like I was an option. I would allow people to treat me like I was an afterthought. I would allow people to treat me like I was, yeah, I guess you can come. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
you can come. I'm coming.
Right?
Right. I'm
But
good.
now I'm at a place where, honey, I don't need anybody to tell me of my value. I know
Yeah.
my value, and I don't care if nobody else out there knows it. I know it
Yeah.
because I respect myself.
Yeah. Just gonna hit. Yeah. I hope this hit a lot of people because, yeah, like I said, you end up counseling me in the midst of all of this. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you. What do you say about this? I wanted to end on that, but when you said respect, right? What do you take up on mine saying men need respect, women need appreciation? So it's almost like respect don't go with women. As long as they appreciate us, then that's good, but they need the respect.
I think men and women both need appreciation and respect. And I don't need no man to come and tell me what I need and what I don't need.
Wait, tell them again now. Tell them again.
I'm well aware of what I need. You figure out what you need, and I will tell you what I need. You don't tell me what I need. How are you going to tell me what I need?
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of people out here. I'm telling you, the mentality that's going on is weird. Yeah, it's been very it's different. It's different out here. But like you said, honestly, at the end of the day, it's back on me and what I tolerate and what other women tolerate, and same thing vice versa with men.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you being on. I thank you so much. I appreciate you.